Hey everyone, Nathan with FreeUp here. Today we have Megan, and there's two things cool about Megan. First of all, I use her myself for the email marketing campaigns that you get every week. And second of all, she was working full-time not that long ago, and now she is a freelancer full-time on the FreeUp marketplace, correct?
Correct.
So let's dive right into it. What is your story and how did you do it?
Yeah, so I got my MBA in the fall, and after that, was like, okay, what do I do with that time now? I've been spending, 15, 20 hours a week on top of a full-time job doing homework, whatever. So I crashed for a couple months, and then came January, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to actually, spend that time doing something. So I've had local clients before I went into grad school and put that on pause. So I was like, hey, you guys have any interest? You need some help? And they did. So I started freelancing in addition to my current role, my full-time role back in January. Marketing director for a software development company.
And is that something you learned how to do when you were there, or did you have the marketing experience coming in?
I had the marketing experience coming in. I've been in marketing my whole career, got my undergrad in it, worked at agencies for basically most of my career. So I've been working with clients all of my adult life.
Very cool.
So then January, started freelancing here and there. And then I found myself really, so I go to work during the day, do my work there, kind of 8 to 5, had a ton of flexibility, great job. But I found myself checking the clock, waiting to get home so that I could start my other work, like the freelance work. And so that was kind of an early indicator to me of maybe I'm doing the wrong thing with the majority of my time. So I took a couple months, thought about it, researched it. There's those really obnoxious but important things like health insurance and whatnot when you leave a full-time steady gig, cash flow, all that fun stuff. So I just researched, started to build up my client base, joined FreeUp in probably March, April timeframe, found it and just kept checking the board, checking for tickets, requesting them, talking to clients about what they needed, and just got a huge influx of clients from that. And was able to, in mid-April, I gave him 3 weeks notice, and left early May. So about 5 months from, okay, I'm going to start freelancing on the side, to okay, I'm leaving my job, which for everyone else I've talked to is it's usually more like 12 months. And I'm in a position where I don't have a family to support. I live a pretty minimal lifestyle, as you can see from the nothing behind me. So I'm in a position in my life where I can just jump and take the risk, but I also had a pretty good forecast of what I would be bringing in from the clients that I had already gained on FreeUp, knowing that then when I left to freelance full time, that I could bring in more really quickly when I was ready.
Definitely. So you get into FreeUp. What's it like as a freelancer entering FreeUp? I think that's what a lot of people watching want to know. If they're a freelancer that's trying to get in the network, maybe they've applied before or they have thought about applying. Well, what's it like? And you're obviously not in the Philippines. You're in the U.S. I think some people think of us as an outsourcing company, but as we both know, there's a lot of U.S. people there too. What's it like?
Yeah, it's the most unique network that I've been on. So I did the whole Upwork thing, got some work from there, did get a really good long-term client. That's great. But of course, other platforms are, you submit an application or a proposal and maybe you hear something, maybe you don't. You see that 100 other people have applied for it. And how are you going to stand out? Do you risk putting a bunch of time into the proposal? Do you send something that's canned? What's that? It's that business development type mindset when you're a freelancer. So spend some time on there, and some of the other networks. And FreeUp is just different. Like there's, of course, the onboarding process, which that's there for a reason. You know, it takes a couple weeks to get in. It took me, I think, 3 weeks from the application date to get in. And that's because of the validation that they go through. They do vet everybody, you know, send samples and whatnot. So you have to prove that you are up to snuff. And then the tickets that come in are, the information is just there. So you can kind of skim through them and know, is this going to be a good fit? Is it not going to be a good fit? If it's not a good fit, someone else will take it, and you can be pretty confident in that, unless Nathan IMs you and says, hey, can you please take this, please? And then you do them a favor, because it's all about the greater good, right? And so all the information is there in the ticket. You get to meet the client. And then another really good thing from a freelancer standpoint is that after that 15-minute interview, you get paid. So I know a lot of freelancers talk about like putting together a strategy and a plan for a client without even knowing if they get the business or not, which I understand that's a reality of the business. But like, Nathan, you and your team really fight hard for, like, no, the strategy part is a huge part of the value that the freelancers bring to the clients. And so being able to get paid knowing that, you know, I've spent 10 years of my career learning what's going into those, even if it's a couple hours, I still get to do that. So it's really scalable. So, you know, when I was still working 40 hours and then doing freelance work, I just stopped submitting for new tickets again, unless Nathan was like, hey, please. And then once I left the job, I was able to kind of turn the faucet back on without having to spend any money, spend any time, run ads, you know, create a lead generation structure. I just turned the faucet back on by basically putting my name in for tickets and got work, and I'm still at full capacity. I think I'm like 3 weeks in to freelancing full time and don't have a single complaint.
How long, from the time you joined FreeUp, how long did it take you to get your first FreeUp client?
Oh, like 3 days.
Yeah, pretty quick.
It was, there was a ticket. I was on Skype, you know, and now with the system, it would be have the time clock open, and just requested, and then was just really straightforward with the client of like, here's what I can do based on what you said, followed up with them, got a meeting scheduled, really fast turnaround.
How has FreeUp grown since you started? I'm trying to think of what changes we did. I'm assuming a lot changed. A lot goes on around here.
It changes fast, yeah. I think one of the biggest changes is the requesting ticket system. So it used to be that you'd sit on Skype all day and kind of wait for them to come in, or you could check the time card. But the last ticket that I did request, I just went in, I said, here's my rate, submit, and got an email from an assistant that said, cool, it's on its way. So that's probably one of the biggest updates. And then, of course, the really cool new email campaigns that you guys are putting out.
We are crushing it. Let's talk about email campaigns, because there might be a client listening that has no idea what they're doing with these campaigns. So what's like the common mistakes you see? How can you benefit someone else's business when it comes to those campaigns?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't know what they can do with email. I think it's just a general, you don't know what you don't know. But the automation that's out there to be able to really personalize and communicate with your past customers, leads, current customers, is really powerful. As long as you have good, clean data or a way to collect that data, you can do a lot with email to build a brand, build sales, build that relationship, build trust, educate. Having an email list and nurturing it and taking advantage of it is something that I've seen just about every industry, B2B, B2C. I've seen businesses in all sorts of industries and types of businesses really advance and start to hit their goals using email.
Awesome. Very cool. Anything last thing that you want to add about FreeUp, about freelancing, to anyone out there that may be unsure about it or are questioning whether they should become a freelancer or really focus on it full time?
Yeah, I think there's that. You just kind of have to test. So like I had that, 4 months where I was doing kind of double duty there with a full-time job and freelancing, and found that where I was spending my brain power and my passion was really the freelancing. And so that was a good indicator for me. I think the realities are hard, like health insurance, no matter what your political beliefs are. This isn't about politics, but the health insurance stuff is hard. It's expensive. But if you're good at what you do in terms of freelancing, you can have that income to make that lifestyle work. So what I'm telling people now is that I'm kind of in this freedom phase. I'm like 3 weeks out. So I'm like, I went to a bank during bank hours today. I've had lunch and coffee with dozens of people over the last couple of weeks. And so I'm just at this point kind of really taking advantage of that freedom. And then there'll come a time where I really buckle down. I build a brand, build my personal brand, build my freelance brand, potentially down the road, start using FreeUp to actually hire people to help me, would be an eventual goal, to turn to where I have so much work that I need help, and start to scale. So it's just about taking that time to reflect. Is it right for you? Is it not? What are your options? A good pro-con list can go a long way.
Agreed. Well, I'm excited for you. I was pumped when you told me that you were going to go full-time and that you wanted to make the video. And we wish you a lot of success with both your clients inside and outside FreeUp. And I look forward to crushing the rest of the year with you.
Thanks, Nathan. It's great to be a part of this group.
Hey, everyone. I'm making content like this all the time. If you like this video, please comment and like below. Also, click the subscribe button to get even more content brought to you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back at the end of the next video to remind you again.